Right, is this stream live? Is this stream live? I have no idea. Hi guys, I'm Clamp of Joe. Welcome back to a new stream. So today we're on a new world. We're gonna call what are we gonna call this world quickly? Sorry, my one Joy-Con's not working. What are we gonna call this world? Silly Billy. We're just going to call the world Silly Billy. Now, more options. What do we want? Let's go classic. Let's go classic. Let's go... Do we want a bonus chest? Well, we could do one. Who gives a damn? Let's say medium. Biome scale, small, medium, large. Hello, Mikado. Let's go large. And let's go create new world. Create new world. Hello, Duck for Life. Welcome to the stream. Hello, Mikados. Welcome to the stream. We are live on this stream right now, guys. We are doing something called a 4-hour challenge, which is a thing that I invented a few years ago. As a cool idea. So we're going to see how far we can get into a Minecraft world in 4 hours. So here's our world. Okay, I'm just going to turn this TV down a bit. It's a little loud. There we go. Turn this TV down a little bit. Right. First off, oh bollocks. First off, we want that map. And we want to see. So we've got huge biomes. Let's put the map in the offhand. Let's just break the chest in general. Let's just break this chest in general. I think we've got a perfect sort of spot to sort of live in right now. So let's see where. Let's just have a quick case study of our surroundings. Might as well go this way for a little bit. Sorry I'm late. I'm super deaf. I know you're super deaf. Devil Bear Reacts. Welcome to the stream. You're not late. The stream's only started about a minute ago. We are literally on a new world. We're doing a challenge where we have to see how far we start, how far we get on this world. So hold on. If I kill this sheep, if we kill these sheep, we get food. If we kill these sheep, we get food and potentially a bed for tonight because we've got the wood for it. Oh, where the hell did he go? We need another white sheep. That's a black sheep, so we need another white sheep because we've got 2 white bits of wool. What happens if you die? Well, if you die, it doesn't matter. It's a 4-hour challenge. It's not hardcore. Racist. That's not racism, but if you have 2 bits of white wool and 1 black wool, you can't make a bed. You can't make a Minecraft bed because you've got 1 of different colours. So it used to work. It used to work before they added multicoloured beds into Minecraft. So we're just going to have a scout out of this world at the moment. I do need another sheep quickly so we can concentrate on making a bed. I'm thinking of leave the house here. Liverpool are doing shit this season. Well, that was always going to happen to Liverpool. Because Liverpool basically, last season was basically a Jurgen Klopp style Liverpool team. Because they didn't really buy anybody apart from Chiesa. Am I going to watch the Baller League final? No, I'm not. But it's because that's not The Baller League, they're trying to make it like a Premier League style thing, aren't they? I don't think that's football, in my opinion. I respect they're trying to promote football more, but I think it's the wrong way of doing it. If you want to promote football, you promote actual football, not like YouTuber leagues and things like that. Well, that's sort of my opinion on it. It's fun to watch. I don't find it fun though. You might find it fun because your best YouTubers are there, but I personally don't like that. I personally would prefer it if it was promoted with, you know, genuine football players. Lag. Must be you, because it's not lagging for me. I need a sheep. Everton was on Discovery Plus, and so I tried to upgrade. I tried to upgrade the TNT. I tried to upgrade the TNT subscription. But that's the thing, though. Even though it's like cool, you don't support a team. They're not actual teams. It's like I hate that now when they try and build it up like it's a sport. I'm like, it's not. It's like Americans saying college football. I mean, it's college. It's like when Americans say college football. I'm like, well, it's in college. That's not true football. That's not professional. It's college. 19. Let's go 19. But that's the thing, though. I just don't agree with it. But it's one of those. They try and find any sort of ways to promote sports now. They use YouTube now because they know people watch it. It's like I got really pissed off with Sky a few years ago when they gave I Show Speed three tickets, because I was sat there like, you know, this guy knows nothing about football. He knows Ronaldo. Why have they give him 3 tickets? Because I thought it was wrong. It doesn't mean it's not a cool concept. But is it a cool concept though? Because a lot of people now are like sheep, and a lot of young people now are like sheep. They'll watch whatever it is. So, for example, there's a show in the UK. Mic bugging. Is it? There's a show in the UK called Emmerdale, Coronation Street. They've been on for years. They're fucking shit. But because people continue to watch it, they keep making episodes. It's like people are sheep. They'll watch whatever if their favourite person's in it, even though it could be the shittest thing possible. We can't hear you, I think. Is my mic working? Let's have a look. Yeah, it says it's working. But yeah, that's what I mean. Like, YouTubers now and TV channels, they try and flog a dead horse. Like, for example, what's his name? What's this shit? I'm a Celebrity. Obviously, Angry Ginge won it this year. But the amount of people that were pissed off about it because nobody knew who he was, and a lot of people found him arrogant, which he wasn't. But it was also some valid criticism. The criticism that people had of it was quite valid. Because it was like they were flogging a dead horse. Because a lot of the stuff that they were doing, they'd done so many... It's an interesting one. It's like I'm a Celebrity. I think needs a break, personally. Because I think it's 25 years now. Yeah. But he won I'm a Celebrity this year. He won the British show I'm a Celebrity this year. But a lot of people were complaining that there was no real celebrities on it anymore, which technically it is true. Yeah, well, I would reject it because I would reject it. But no, what I'm saying is that Man United didn't offer him that. Man United didn't offer him that. Sky did it as a way to get him to meet Ronaldo, which I don't agree with that. Because, he wasn't, he's American. He's American, and, he might have become a Man United fan now because of Ronaldo. But he knew nothing about it. He just knew Ronaldo. So I thought it was unfair. And there's generally kids that can't afford tickets to go and watch, the Man United or whatever team play. Does I Show Speed deserve a ticket over a genuine Man United fan or whatever? So, for example, there was an investigation recently into the British government because the British government, it was alleged the British Prime Minister had since he became an MP. It was alleged that the British Prime Minister, as an MP, had accepted over £100,000 worth of free gifts, which a lot of people thought it was wrong. But I think the I Show Speed thing was bad, in my opinion. You can't offer someone free tickets because they're a YouTuber, just because they want to meet Ronaldo. Well, no, I mean, football's a thing in the United States, but it's unfair. He's not a fan. He wasn't a fan of Man United. He was a fan of Ronaldo. But to offer someone free tickets because they like Ronaldo was a very wrong thing to do. In fact, they turned around and said they'd never work with him again straight afterwards because the video of him talking horrible to a girl come out online. But I'm saying the world works in ways, though. But 30, 40 years ago, you wouldn't just give someone free tickets because they're a celebrity, because they're a star. If you want a ticket, you pay for it. There's ways of doing it, but I think that's wrong. It might work in other countries, but it is wrong. Just give someone a free ticket because they're a star. Which I don't agree with that, guys. If it's like a promotional video and they're generally going out there to meet them, that makes sense. But think about the people that can't generally buy tickets, and they've been a fan of that team for years, and they can't generally buy tickets because they can't afford it, and then you've got some random YouTuber that's doesn't know what football is, goes and gets offered a free ticket. That's where it's wrong. Yeah, it's not a great move. It's not a great move, Oraway. I think you're misunderstanding it. It wasn't about promotion. It was about the fact that he wanted to meet Ronaldo, and his song had took off about the World Cup. And it wasn't a promotional piece from Sky. It was the fact that they thought they'd use it as publicity. Get him to meet Ronaldo. And so he can get him to see Ronaldo play. But that publicity obviously turned on its head, because when he turned up, he wasn't in the team and he wasn't playing. But yeah, it is unfair. You're a Milan fan. Would you like somebody that doesn't even know what Milan is to get a ticket over you? Do you get what I mean? Say you can't afford a ticket to go and watch Milan play. Would you want somebody that doesn't even know what Milan is to get a free ticket while you can't afford it? To get publicity. But publicity works in both ways. But I'll use that example. Would you like somebody that knows nothing about your team to get a free ticket over you? It's the same as Everton, for example. Everton had Tony Bellew. Tony Bellew, who obviously was a boxer, and I think he was the welterweight champion as well. Massive Everton fan, always in the director's box, but I think he paid for his tickets. I don't care if that person's promoting my club. Yeah. But if you're offering someone free tickets just because they're famous and they know nothing about football or your team, and they just know, say, who plays for Real Madrid? Rafa Leao. They only know Rafa Leao. Would it be right for them to get a free ticket to watch him play just because he knows who he is? I'd understand if you're a friend of the player. So, for example, a few years ago, one of the Liverpool players that was in the Champions League gave their friend a ticket. It's like yeah, but that's the thing though. It makes more sense though. You'd rather be in the stadium. You'd rather be in the stadium watching it because the atmosphere is much better on the atmosphere. If you're watching a match, the atmosphere is much better in the stadium. You'd rather watch football in the stadium though. But I still think it's wrong. I think they should have to pay at least a certain amount of the ticket price. I think it's wrong. You can't just give people free tickets because they're famous. Especially if they know nothing about the sport. No. But I'm not saying that. But I'm saying, imagine if you're a bloody football fan, for example. You want to go and watch your team play, and you're poor. You're going to be absolutely devastated there. The fact that some random nobody that's jumps in front of cameras has got a free ticket over you, and you supported that team for years. And I'd say the same, guys, if Everton were giving out free tickets to celebrities and stars. I'd say the same if Everton did it. So, for example, Everton did do it in a way. A 13-year-old Everton fan, a 15-year-old Everton fan flew from Australia to Liverpool on his own. He bought a ticket to watch the Merseyside derby. It got cancelled. So Everton's right back gave him a free ticket to when the rearranged fixture was because he'd come all the way from Australia to find out the match had been cancelled. But that's justified. That makes sense. But getting a free ticket, it goes both ways, yeah. But if you're a celebrity, you can afford that ticket. A free ticket should go out to local schools and things like that. Not this guy's big. We can use him as promotion. It's the same as what's his name? David Beckham. David Beckham was offered a free jump the queue card. So he was offered a free jump the queue badge on the day of to walk past the Queen's coffin. So they did Queen Elizabeth II did a Lion States. They did a Lion States. So basically, the coffin, Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth II, her coffin was passing, and the public can go past and see it, because that's it. Lion State. They do that with all the monarchs. The queue was 10 miles wide. The queue was 10 miles wide to go and see the coffin. the queue was 10 miles wide to see the Queen's coffin, and David Beckham was offered the chance to have, because he's friendly with Prince William, he was offered the chance to see the Queen's coffin, basically to queue jump, and he refused a badge to go queue jump because he thought it would be wrong, because you've got, you know, hundreds of thousands of other people that wouldn't be offered a queue badge, and they'd have to queue for that 10 miles. It's sort of similar though, you know, so celebrities can turn around and then stand in line, in a way. Yeah, in a way it's a good move, but it's wrong. You get publicity by making your publicity. So, for example, Everton have it where basically they have a guy that goes... Everton, for example, have a guy that basically works for them, that goes to all the... Everton have a content creator that practically works for them. He goes into the training group, and, you know... Yeah. But, you know, Speed, he's a freak. Yeah, I find... I don't like IShowSpeed. Speed. That's... I'm not being honest there, guys. I don't like him. But I think it's wrong to offer... I think it's wrong to offer people free tickets anyway. Especially if you're a genuine person. Like, for example, I was on holiday a couple of months ago. I wanted to buy tickets to Everton versus West Ham. I couldn't do it. I couldn't get tickets. Because, you know, they go so quickly. So, you know, on a context, you would be absolutely livid if you found out, oh, wait, so this guy's been offered one for free. This guy's been offered, you know, one for free. Like, you would be absolutely... You would absolutely be devastated. Because that is very unfair. It is a very unfair thing. Oh, you turn up, you find out, oh, wait, sorry, this YouTuber that's... from across the from another country has got a free ticket instead. Has been given a free ticket. That's where I think it's wrong. Especially when actual fans can't get tickets. So, for example, on a football thing, who remembers the what do you call it? The Super Cup. Who remembers the European Super League idea? Who remembers the European Super League? The European Super League, for example, guys, that was one of the worst decisions I've ever seen in my life. The European Super League. So do you guys all remember that? The European Super League? The Premier League was not firm enough on them. When it come out that they were trying to form their own breakaway league, what did Liverpool, Man City, Man United, Arsenal, Chelsea and Tottenham do? Yeah, I'm not in favour of it. It's wrong. I'm not in favour of the breakaway league because... I'm not in favour of the breakaway league because it's basically... I think if they want to have a breakaway league, then they have to go and leave the Premier League. That's my opinion. So you want your own, basically you want your own Champions League where basically you're guaranteed to be in it every season. That I don't agree with. I don't agree with it. If you want this European Super League, I think that it has to be whoever wins. It has to be no one can be in there 100%, if you get what I mean. If they want to do that European Super League idea, it's got to be that we already have the European Super League. We have the Champions League. That is the European Super League. But it basically means it's basically the richer clubs want more money. Like they said, the Liverpool, for example, the European Super League, the Liverpool fans were absolutely livid because they didn't want to. The Liverpool fans were absolutely livid with it because, in their heads, something that was mentioned at the time. They absolutely love the Merseyside derby. They didn't want to lose their rivalry with Everton. Dortmund and Bayern Munich refused to be part of it outright because they wanted to just remain with it in its formation. When the European Super League come out, I said to a friend of mine, because we were talking about it. Well, no, the Champions League though. The Champions League was always going to have those changes. No, those changes were already planned, had already been announced, but the Super League idea was because they wanted more money. But they wanted more money, but it was more of a they wanted this league, but they wanted to remain in part of the Premier League. If the Super League was going to happen, I think they should have been forced out of the Premier League. I think all 6 of them should have been expelled. I think all 6 of them should have been expelled. But are you aware, ROA, of what the Big Six tried to do? When they tried to form their own breakaway league, they tried to bully the other 14 teams. Instead of the UEFA people. Yeah, no, but that's the new idea. But the initial idea that was all the teams were in favour of was a league where basically you had all 14 teams, however many teams there were, they were always in it. So it's not about leaving the league, but that's what they wanted. All the other 14 Premier League teams wanted them kicked out of the league because they wanted to remain part of the Premier League, but they wanted the Champions League to be gone and then to have this. And it would only be 5 teams, not from Juventus, Milan, Inter, Liverpool. Only 5 other teams would be allowed in. Are we on the same topic? Yeah, the European Super League. It's the initial announced format when they announced this breakaway league was very bad. Here, let me find it a second. Are you aware of what they tried to do? They tried to get rid of the Carabao Cup. They tried to force the Premier League to cut down to 18 players, 18 teams. The European Super League. It was basically a basketball plan for Europe. This was the concepts. I'm just going to have to brighten my screen up. It's a bit dark. Basically, Manchester United, Bayern, Barca, and Manchester United planned it to rival. This is what it was. In the 1995, Ajax, Barcelona, Bayern and Man United secretly planned the Super League to rival the Champions League. It would have 36 prominent clubs split into 3. But then you have this is the concept here then. Let's go into here. Well, it was Florentino Perez who basically wanted it. But Florentino Perez, this was the leadership of it. Florentino Perez, the chairman of Juventus, the Glazer, Henry and Kroenke, the leaders of those 3. Well, the initial format was 15 permanent member clubs, and then 5 teams that would be given a spot through a qualifying mechanism. That was just but that's not the bit that would bad. Well, no, it would have happened. You can remove teams from the Prem. It happened in 2009. Portsmouth were relegated because of going bankrupt. You can afford to get rid of those teams. If the Super League happened, ROA, there was a plan to merge the Scottish Premier League and the English Premier League into like a British Premier League. So there was a plan. There was an idea that went ahead. If Liverpool and that were going to do it, there was ideas to kick all 6 of them out of the Premier League, and then invite Celtic, Rangers, Aberdeen, and most of the Scottish teams into a British Premier League. Which kind of made sense because the English Premier League, the English league system, has Welsh teams, and it would have had Scottish teams. The Prem can afford to get rid of them, though. The Prem can afford to get rid of them because the Premier League is not governed by 6 teams. But that's what they tried to do. They tried to get more power. So, for example, they tried to force through a format that would be the Caribou Cup were got rid of so they can play Super League games. They tried to cut the Premier League down to 18 teams, so 2 teams would have been forced out. And you know how Everton got hit with like financial fair play rules, lots of horrible, refereeing decisions and VAR decisions? It's because Everton was leading the other 14. Ironically, in 2021, when that came out in like early 2021, out of all the teams, Everton led the other 14 clubs against the other 6, because Everton's owner literally went. Everton's owner said something along the lines of, "If we are oh no, I'll support Everton now." Yeah, but the international fans have no representation. The international fans would have no representation our way because they only know about them because of that. If they were kicked out, people in the Philippines, Indonesia, all those countries in Southeast Asia, Brazil, Africa, they have no say because they're not English. They're not English, or they're not British. So if their team's kicked out of the Premier League because their team tried to force their way through, like for example Man City's FFP thing, there are rumours, obviously. There were rumours about Man City's 130 charges of breaking all the financial rules. There was many rumours that if found guilty, they could be expelled. But it's one of those, like the international fans, nobody cares about because international fans have no say in what goes on in English football. They're only a fan of them because they've heard of them. Do you get what I mean? But yeah, the Everton was the biggest team pushing for them to be hammered, and let's just put on this. The Big Six's teams wanted nothing to do. The Big Six teams' fans, so obviously the fans of Liverpool, Man United, Arsenal, Tottenham, Chelsea, and Liverpool. None of the fans wanted this Super League. Well, no, it would survive. It would survive. Like, that's what Gary Neville said. When it came out, Gary Neville, he's very biased. He's very biased towards Man United, and that's the first time I've ever heard him say deduct points and relegate all 6 of them. And it came out as well on that. The fans of those clubs never wanted them to do it. Never wanted them to be involved in it. They hated it. But the fans weren't listening. The teams weren't listening to their fans. And it collapsed because the fans threatened to storm the stick. The Man United fans stormed Old Trafford. This is it. 2021 Old Trafford protest. On the 2nd of May, In April 2021, Joe Glazer played a high-profile role in controversial plans to have Manchester United compete in a European Super League. The plans were announced on the 18th of April and were unpopular with fans. Despite Man United's withdrawal from the competition 3 days later and heavy backlash from fans, players, managers and pundits, protests still continued. On the 22nd of April, a group of 20 supporters gained entry to Man United's training ground to stage a protest against the ownership. And it ended up 2,000 fans stormed the stadium and, ran across the pitch. Hello, Ecoinex. Yeah, wasted half hour. You have done no progression. Yes, that is true. That is true. I have done no progression, but that is true. But it's fine. We got a bed. We got a bed for the night. Where the hell is it? I've just created this world, and I think we haven't put mobs on inadvertently. I haven't seen any mobs at all. Let's just leave the world a minute. No, but it's wrong. They could have, yeah. Apparently, I never put it to easy mode when I started the world. Actually, I know I did make progression, actually. I did make progression. I did exactly what I needed to do. Wow. I'm going to sleep for a second. I haven't wasted half hour. I had to go and find materials, so... Now I'm going to take this, and this. I didn't pick the torch up. But no, none of the Super League fans none of the fans of those clubs wanted to be part of the Super League. But that's where it's wrong. You can, owners, for example, if you own a football club, some of you might not understand that one, but if you own a football club, you don't own the club. You are a custodian. You are a custodian of a football club. If you buy a football club, you are not its owner. Technically, yes, you are its owner, but you are more its custodian. These clubs have existed before you, and they'll exist after you. Yeah, but they said that's what the thing is. There would be no challenge because they're permanently in it. There's going to be no money. It would make, if anything, it would make the divide bigger, and that's what Everton led the other 14 clubs against. Everton led. That is true. That is true. It had a partial valid point, but do you know why that is, ROA? Do you know why they wanted more money? Because Man United, Real Madrid, Barcelona, a lot of those teams are quite heavy in debt. Quite a few of those teams are actually fairly in debt. A lot of those teams are actually really heavily in debt. So basically, it was about saving themselves. It was about saving themselves. It was mainly about saving themselves. The more money they get, the more money that they got would mean that they could save themselves. But they were willing to save themselves economically by destroying the competition. Like, none of the Premier League, everybody, like every Man United, Man City, Liverpool, Arsenal fan, they all love the Premier League. They love going to Burnley. They love going to Burnley. They love going to Everton. You know, Manchester City in 2017, in Guardiola's first season, they harboured aspirations of winning the league. Man United runs... Well, Barcelona and Real Madrid are absolutely... well, it doesn't run on fans. Man City and Barcelona... Sorry, Real Madrid and Barcelona run on the fact that they overspent. You know, Barcelona were overpaying on players. Barcelona, how much did they pay what's his name for? I believe that they were... Barcelona were £1 billion in debt at one point. I think they still are in debt and they're trying to work it off. I think Real Madrid is still very heavily in debt, which they needed this. They're the only two clubs still part of the Super League because they need the Super League. Like Everton's owner at the time, Farhad Moshiri, was asked if he was offered, because 5 random teams would be offered a chance to compete in the European Super League. Yeah, no, 140, yeah, 144, I think. Yeah, but Real Madrid used to spend a lot on players as well. You know, they you know. Oh, let me think of some some players. You know, Ronaldo was a ridiculous amount. Ronaldo was 80 million. Ronaldo was the biggest. Bale was ridiculous as well. Hi, Calamity of Joe, welcome to the stream. Bale was ridiculous. So, for example, Everton's former owner, Farhad Moshiri, he was asked about if Everton was offered a chance to be in this new Super League. That was exactly the part. Clubs could be offered just places per season in the European Super League, and Everton's owner was asked. Would you accept a place? And his words was never, never, never. It will be never, never, never. But yeah, I think Real Madrid and Barcelona just overspent. It's the same with Everton. It's the same with Everton back in the day. Everton was spending money back in the day. Everton spent money that they didn't have, and Everton almost went bankrupt in the late 90s because they were buying players. They were buying players with money that they didn't have. So, for example, what's the challenge? The 4-hour challenge. We're gonna see. I did this a few years ago, Globine, so I've opted to do it again. We're gonna see how far we can get on a world in 4 hours. Don't Everton have like a lot of money? Not well. If they have if they had a lot of money, why? If they had a lot of money, why didn't they? I mean, yeah, they have more money now because all the financial troubles are off. If Everton had a lot of money, would they be playing 18-year-olds in midfield? Because if they had a lot of money, they wouldn't have lost to Sunderland yesterday. But that was a team scratched together really quickly. Which is partially... Did you just start? No, we've done it for about half hour, but I started talking about football. They have American owners. Yeah, but just because we got an American owner doesn't mean we're rich. Well, the American owners are rich, but you can't just put... There are rules that you can't... There are... financial rules in the English Premier League. You know, Everton's Farhad Moshiri, who was Everton's last owner, he had the money to put it in, but because of financial fair play rules, he couldn't put money in. He couldn't put money into the club to do that. So, you know, Everton had the money. Because of financial fair play rules, Everton couldn't put any money in and buy anybody. So, for example, the amount of players that almost went to Everton is ridiculous. Cody Gakpo. Cody Gakpo. Everton spent all summer trying to buy him. Luis Diaz. Everton came close. Everton came very close to signing him, but then it didn't pan out. Let me think of another. Denzel Dumfries. Oh, Mohamed Kudus. Mohamed Kudus was very close. Oh, who's that other one I'm thinking of? The one that plays for West Ham, Summit Calmadine. His name's Calmadine, isn't it? Calmadine Sulemana, the one who plays for Atlanta. Everton came very, very close to signing him, but Southampton got him instead. Quite a few players at Everton came close to getting, but just couldn't get due to financial fair play stuff. There is quite a few. But yeah, the thing about Everton, though, is that Everton have the money, yes, technically. They have American owners, but these owners can't really put much money in at the moment. They can't put much money in at the moment. I heard they want to sign Ben White, though. I've heard Everton want to sign Ben White. Everton need a lot of signings at the moment. They probably need a new striker, because Beto and Barry have like 5 goals between them. I like Barry. I love Barry. I think Barry will be a great player. He just needs time to adapt to the Premier League. But Beto has not been good this season. They sent me a negative. Losers. Well, my second name is Barry. Cool. Yeah, Tiano Barry will be a great striker. It's just he's not up to the speed, because La Liga is not the same standard as the Premier League. La Liga is a much slower league. You know, the Premier League is very much high intensity. Beto started the first few games. Yeah, Beto was a good striker. But I watched our pre-season games. I watched Everton's pre-season games on Sky. So I waited till I stayed up till like 2 a.m. to watch them while they were in America playing. And Beto always seemed overweight. He seemed out of breath and he just couldn't run. And when you watch Barry play, you know, Barry's absolutely sprinting for every ball. You know, he's challenging all those centre backs. But then when Beto comes on, you know, Beto's not is jogging for every ball. He's not running for every ball. He's not. Why have I got a random jungle sapling? We're going to place a sapling in a place that's not the jungle. Hello, Alex. Welcome to the stream. Beto's the opposite of lazy. No, he is lazy. He doesn't run. He doesn't run. Honestly, watch Beto play. I like Beto, but watch him play. Go watch him play. Watch the full match with what Barry's doing compared to Beto. Literally, Beto does not run for every ball. When Barry goes off and Beto comes on, he doesn't run as much as Barry does. When Beto first came to Everton, yeah, he was running for absolutely every ball. When Beto first came to Everton, he was running for every ball. Now he doesn't seem to run as much. But I will admit, I think Barry's the better striker. I will admit, I think Barry's the better striker. I like Beto, but he just hasn't run as much this season. Hello, Yogs. Welcome to the stream. Barry scored 17, yeah. Yeah, Barry's a good striker. He just needed time to adapt to the Premier League, because the Premier League is a much faster intensity league than La Liga is. Yeah, hello, Yogs. Welcome to the stream. What am I building? I'm doing a stream. I'm doing a 4-hour challenge stream. So we're building. How many languages do I speak? One, I'm afraid. I'm not good at speaking other languages, guys. Mainly because my store got rid of Spanish and only taught us French, and I dropped French because I dropped French when I was in year 9. So in the UK, you pick what classes you want to do. There's mandatory class when you do your exams in the UK. You pick what you have two core. You have two sort of when you do your exams in the UK, you sort of have your mandatory ones like English, Maths, Science, and for me it was religious studies. Religious studies was compulsory. So my school had religious studies as a compulsory subject. Isn't it like weird or hard to control your pod with just a joystick? No, I find it easy. I find it harder with keyboard and mouse because I'm not very good at playing on I'm not very good on keyboard. I need some cobblestone. There's a mountain over here. Right, so I find it easier because I'm not very good at playing on keyboard and mouse. I think it's because my fingers aren't long enough. There we go. He scored 11, Barry, yeah. But Barry's still a young striker. Barry is still very much still a young striker. Whereas, you know, Beto, about 21 for someone else. Beto didn't get much of a chance in his first season. He didn't get much of a chance in his first season because they went with Calvert-Lewin up front. Beto honestly only had 5-10 minutes. But Beto, this should have been the season where Beto proves himself. This should have been the season where Beto makes the striker position his own. And he hasn't done that. This should have been the season where obviously Beto makes it the position his own. No. The only reason I can do it in a split. You can do it in a split second, of course. But it's because I can tell you what it is. It's because I put my sensitivity down low. My sensitivity in my game is very low because I prefer it. I prefer it like that. Right. Now, let's just break that. Right. We have a house. There's no wood at the back here, is there? No. Good. Now, I need to go up here a bit. I need some more planks of wood, I think. Does anyone in chat plays Minecraft Bedrock? I do, but not all the time. I play this one more. He's messing. Oh, Irabunum. You talking about Irabunum? I personally don't like Irabunum in his first season. I liked Irabunum in his first season, but I personally thought he was shit this season. Tim Irabunum, I think Tim Irabunum played really well the other day against Tim Irabunum. I thought played quite well against who do we play the other day? Wolves. I thought Tim Irabunum, I thought played really well against Wolves. Yeah, I thought Tim Irabunum played really well against Wolves, but he was at fault for the loss versus Newcastle because he keeps the ball too long. Yeah, he keeps the ball too long, but then he keeps going too far ahead of himself. When he runs with the ball, he keeps going too far upfield. He keeps going too far upfield, and then we're cut through the middle. You know, if he'd have kept the ball against Wolves and passed it, we'd have probably won 2-1. Did you miss my chat? It wouldn't be accurate, but who knows? That we have jars and PS5. Yeah. But a split second, I can move in a split second. It's just my sensitivity is very low. Like, my sensitivity right now is 105. No, I didn't miss your chat. I didn't read it. I sort of read it. I didn't read it out loud. Well, you still control it with a Joy-Con, with a joystick. So it's going exactly where I'm pointing. You still control it. I need to rub my... Yeah, he controls the ball too long, and he's liable to lose the ball, if you get what I mean. Yeah, that could be a way. Yeah, the thing about Irabunum, Calamity of Joe, is that he loses the ball too much. Tim Irabunum loses the ball too much. Against Newcastle, he was at fault for 2 of the goals because he lost the ball twice, and then 30 seconds later they scored. That game should have ended 2-1. But he was at fault for 2 of the goals by. He was really poor in midfield. That's the problem. He's not just a Ghana gay. His sort of problem is he's not an Idrissa Gana Gueye style player. Yeah. By me, fair play. Hello, YouTuber Hubu. Welcome to the stream. Let's just get rid of some of this wood a minute, guys. I will need some tools. I'm going to need food. Let's get rid of this. Turn this wheat. Let's turn this food. Let's turn this wheat into food. My health is starting to go down, so right. I want to head over here because I need coal. Found some straight away. Well, no, I have tried servers. I have played. I preferred Cake Wars over Bed Wars, which is basically Bed Wars, except it wasn't a bed; it was a cake. Don't see any mobs yet. No, I have tried. It is fun, but I prefer playing with yourself is good as well. If you find Minecraft boring playing with yourself, then you're playing it wrong, because Minecraft's a game with just endless possibilities. If you get what I mean. I mean, fun is what you make it. Is that anything can be done? So you don't have to play with people to have fun in Minecraft, which is that is what makes the game fun. You know, you can do whatever you want. You name it, you can build it. You name it, guys. You can build it in Minecraft Legacy content. Just Minecraft in general, sorry. In Minecraft, you name it, you can build it. This is the same hole, isn't it? No. Huh. It was that hole. I'm just going to have a scout at the top of this. I can see some coal already. There we are. Yeah, I mean, I would have that. I've done that before. I have done that. Because I have done that, which, you know, it can be fun. We do have a Discord server, everybody. We do have a Discord server, everybody. For this YouTube channel. I don't know if the links appeared today. Where is that Discord server link? Why isn't it? It doesn't look like it's appearing today. We'll pin it today. We'll pin that link today. Let's have a scout and see if we can find some more coal. I saw some. Right. Let's just head over here. We'll have a quick scout out just to see if we can find any more coal. Not that I can see at the moment. I found there's a scattering down here. I need to eat quickly. There we go. Perfect. Yeah. But that makes sense though. But there is a reason for that though. I think it's because India's got a massive population. Like the population of all of Europe, India's population is probably bigger than the entirety of Europe combined. Plus probably an extra 400 million. No, I do have Bedrock. I just don't play it as much as I used to because I got bored. I got bored because all the updates were boring. The servers were out. The servers were full of sweats. I found it boring playing because it was pretty much every game I played, it was the same sort of thing. You know, people would cross team and kill you. I sort of found it boring. So I have played modern Minecraft. I have played modern Minecraft, guys. I last played Bedrock a couple of weeks ago because we got a realm for this world, guys. I last played modern Minecraft a couple of weeks ago because I've created a realm for this YouTube channel. It's accessible, guys, via the channel membership. That is true. That is very much true. Legacy is still very much more stable than Bedrock, but it's because Bedrock was meant for consoles. Sorry, Legacy was meant for consoles. Bedrock was meant for tablet. It was meant for weaker end stuff. So that's why it runs so horribly on. It was meant for much weaker for much weaker devices. Yeah, but it's because Java was not. Bedrock was meant for tablets. Java was meant for computers. Legacy was meant for consoles because Legacy is basically Java, except obviously a few minor tweaks. It's not this optimized. It was designed for very specific devices. It was designed to be played on phones and tablets. Here we go. I'm going to go up here. I'm going to start. Right, I'm back, guys. Sorry. So, I'm going to quickly go here and go and do that. Alright. I'm going to go this way like that. Perfect. How much coal have we got now? We got over 2 stacks, so that's pretty good. Might as well get this piece while we're here. Yeah, I know. Yeah, I know about. Yeah, I know what optimize means, but yeah, you are right. It is. It was meant for a specific console, and that's why it runs so hellish. Like, literally, it runs alright on my laptop, but on my Nintendo Switch, it runs absolutely shockingly. Well, actually, I haven't played it yet on the Switch 2. I haven't played it on the Switch 2 yet. Welcome back, Defilbear Reacts. Sorry, Defilbear Rants. You're eating popcorn right now. Cool. I am eating nothing right now. I haven't eaten anything today, guys. I have not eaten anything today. Popcorn is lovely. Popcorn is lovely, especially toffee popcorn. I don't see any mobs yet. Well, saying that, I just saw an Enderman. But we're not that far from my house, so. And we got the coal now. We got the coal now. Guys, what is the best food in the world? You will turn 16 at 12 a.m. Oh, happy birthday. So you were born 2010. Bloody hell, you're making me feel old. That shocks me that people born 2010 are now going to be 16 years old this year. That shocks me because of my age, it shocks me that people who were born in 2010 are 16 this year. That makes me feel old. So, for example, when I left school, so in the UK, you leave school when you're 16. When you leave school in the UK, you leave school at 16. So when I left school, someone born in 2010 was 9. That makes me feel so old. So, literally, that's why it makes me feel old. No, that's the year before. That was the year before. COVID era was 2020. Yeah, COVID was such a weird time period. That's the pre-COVID era. So basically, yeah, COVID was 2020 plus. COVID was 2022, 2023. 2020 to 2023. Or maybe 2022, actually, saying that. But that shocks me because I said I turned 18 during COVID. And I'm looking back now and going, I'm looking back now and thinking, you know, that was 6 years ago. That was 6 years ago, guys. Like 2022. Yeah. Well, COVID ended COVID's still here. COVID's not ended, but it was struck off from being a deadly. It was 2022, 2023 is when the COVID was sort of deemed not a pandemic anymore. Yeah, the COVID pandemic. They didn't want it to become a pandemic. They tried to stop it becoming a pandemic. It was an epidemic. And then as soon as it spread into other countries, it said COVID-19 has become a pandemic. They tried to stop it becoming a pandemic. And I remember the news suddenly coming up, breaking news, COVID becomes a pandemic. The public health emergency for COVID-19 ended in May 2023. So yeah, COVID being like a national health emergency ended in 2023. That just feels so weird though, doesn't it? It became a pandemic on the 11th of March. Because this is Legacy Console Edition. Looks so faded. This is what Legacy looks like. Shit. Where were we? We were over here, weren't we? Because this is what Minecraft looked like. This is what Minecraft looked like on Legacy. This is what OG Minecraft sort of looks like. I found my stuff, guys. I found the XP. Hello, the Lego Animator. Welcome to the stream. You can't change your field of view. You can't change your field of view because this is what it was. Because it's Legacy, you can't change your field of view. That was a feature added in Bedrock recently. Now we need to get up here, guys, to pick up our stuff. I didn't mean to fall off. I didn't mean to fall off there. The color saturation, but these are the color saturation. This is what the color looks like, and it's not that the color saturation's changed. This is what the color generally looked like on Minecraft. So on Legacy. What Bedrock did. Where's my axe then? Oh, we got that's everything I think we had. No, you can't, because this is what the colours look like. This is generally what the colours in Minecraft looked like. House life job. I do not have a job, guys. I got turned down. I'm pretty good, guys. I'm a little hungry. I might go and get some food later on. I haven't eaten because I haven't eaten today. But yeah, I don't have a job, guys. Well, technically this is a job. Technically I get paid via YouTube, but not a lot, guys. It's not a lot. It's not a lot like quit you. It's not a. What happened to job? Well, I did a job application, but I never heard anything back. I did a job application. I submitted a job application, guys. I submitted loads. I submitted 5 last year, and I heard back from none of them. Well, I heard back from one of them telling me sorry, but you don't match the criteria. I'm not going to say that, guys. I'm not going to say how much it was. It's not a lot. There weren't a lot. Well, it wasn't a lot in UK standards. In UK standards, it wasn't a lot, but it's probably a lot more. It's probably a lot more in other countries. Hello, Cam's Video Official. Welcome to the stream. Most payments in the most every job in the UK has even the most basic job in the UK has more than that a month. Yeah, every job in the UK has more than that a month. Yeah, every job in the UK has more than that a month, because in the UK we have something called guys, we have something called minimum wage. In the UK there is a wage. In the UK there is a minimum that you can pay someone. Yeah, pound and UK currency. Yeah, but there's, what I'm saying is, in the UK there is a minimum that you can pay. There is a minimum that you can pay someone. So, for example, in other countries you don't have that, whereas in the UK you can't just pay someone anything. There's a minimum to how much you can pay someone in the UK. Britain stole India. I wouldn't say they stole India. What Great Britain did, and what all the other European countries did, was they went out for resources. I wouldn't say it was stealing, because it technically wasn't a crime back then. It technically wasn't a crime to go to another country back then and build colonies. Going to another country and going to another land and making colonies back then wasn't a crime. So I don't think you could really call it stealing, because technically, yeah, it would be stealing nowadays, but back then it wasn't a crime. It's a really interesting point of view where it is now. We see it as bad now. But it wasn't technically bad then when it was done. It's the same as like they made slaves and stuff. Don't try to defend. Well, you're not trying to defend it. In fact, though, it's one of those, you can't defend it, but also you can say as well, if Britain didn't take India and France or Spain would have. It's an interesting one where basically no matter what, someone would have took it. I know a bit of history. Yeah, but that's the thing. But it's all told from a different point of view, if you get what I mean. So for example, like Australia, Great Britain found Australia and built colonies there. But if Great Britain didn't put people there, Spain, Netherlands, the Spanish, the Netherlands, or France or Portugal would have done it instead. It's a really interesting one of basically everything in history. Any colony that the Britain had, if they didn't have it, somebody else would have taken it. If you get what I mean, like slavery was bad, but everyone did it. They stole gold, spices, food, made slaves. Yeah. But everyone was doing it. You can't just blame Britain for that. It's the same as Britain. Actually, Britain tried to stop slavery in the 1800s. In the 19th century, Britain tried to stop slavery by trying to blockade the slave ships leaving Africa. it's a really interesting point of view where, yeah, slavery was very bad, but everyone did it. Like, before the transatlantic slave trade, you had the Moroccan slave trade, and the Arabian slave trade, compared to the dollar and stuff. No, but India will always have a weaker currency. India will have a weaker currency because India is a bigger country. India is a bigger country, a much bigger country. So, for example, India have to pay more. India will have to pay more for stuff. You know, for example, because India is so big on a population, 1.4 billion people live in India. Indians have to pay more for food because have to pay more for food. They have to pay more for a lot of stuff because there's so many people. So India is going to have a decreased value next to the dollar anyway, because India's got such a huge population. It's the same with China. China and India have such huge populations that, their populations are more than... What's the population of Europe? Population of Europe. The population of Europe is 700 million. And Europe is absolutely huge. Europe is an absolutely huge country. Well, not a country. Europe is a continent. Europe is a huge continent. India has a country, has more people than the whole continent of Europe. That's partially why. Size is not the issue, no, but population. That is true. That is true. That is true, but having such a huge population doesn't help. 1.4 billion people. That is partially true, but the population, having such a huge population also doesn't help. It's the same as it's the same as China. It's the same as China. Due to resources, they brought in a child limit where basically China brought in a policy that you could only have one child due to the fact over resources. We were ranked 4th. Yeah. But yeah, when you said about the like Great Britain, for example, the whole thing with that is everybody did it. Spain stole all the gold. Spain stole all the gold of what is now Latin America. Latin America was under Spanish control for nearly 400 years. It's the same as every country did it. It's one of those, if India had been more powerful, they would have colonized Europe. It's the same as colonization as a concept works. Colonization is a very morally one that's the more powerful nations would colonize the smaller nations for resources. So, for example, it was who was better equipped. So Europe had better ships. Europe had better ships that could get to these far off places. So, like the Americas, the Aztecs. The Aztecs didn't have the same technology. That they could go thousands of miles on a boat, whereas Europe had the technology to do it, so they did. It's the same with Japan in the 1940s. Japan tried to take all of Southeast Asia. Which is why in Southeast Asia there's a lot of anti-Japanese sentiments in Southeast Asia, because a lot of the people there haven't forgiven Japan for the atrocities caused in the Second World War. It's a really interesting part of history that, yeah, you can't justify. It's one of those, you can't justify it. You can't justify it, but then you can't criticize it, because you can't moan at someone for something that their ancestor did 400 years ago. I mean, some countries are like that, though. Some countries are like that. But what all those countries need, is people that think I've had enough. Have I watched Gotham? Are you talking about Gotham as in 5 seasons Gotham? Where's my house? Oh, it's there. I lost it. Are we talking about Gotham as in Jim Gordon? Harvey Bullock? Yeah, I watched it while it aired. I watched it while it aired in like 2014 to 19. I loved that show. Honestly, I love that show. I watched that while it aired. So I started watching that in 2014 when the first season aired, and I finished watching it when the 5th season aired in 2019. They wanted to do 2 more. They had plans to do a 6th and 7th season, but they got told to cut it down. They'd actually planned out an idea for a 6th and 7th season, so Gotham would have finished in like 2021 time, but it was not to be. But it was a great show when it aired. I'm on season 1 at 14. Oh, I can't remember at 14, but I know at 16's great. You're gonna love Ep 16. I'm not gonna say anything. Great show. I just rewatched it. I just rewatched season 1 and 2s recently. I got the DVDs on my desk behind me, so I rewatched that. I rewatched the first 2 seasons recently. All the seasons were alright, but season 5 feels rushed. But it's because they had been told. Warner Brothers was going for a merger. Fox was being sold, so they had to end the show. Bruce left Cap. I won't say anything, but I do know what happens, because I love that show so much. I'm getting Discord notifications. We've got someone called Cameron's just joined. Welcome. Love you, big bro. Thank you. Well, that Discord server has everything. I put my writing stuff in there as well. And I love you too. Fine, love you too. I need to turn a light on. It's only 3 o'clock, but it's raining, it's damp, and my bedroom walls, guys, are grey. And it's dark. It feels dark. Can I open these curtains anymore? I can't open these curtains anymore. I don't know what I'm going to do. Well, I love it when I love winter time. I love winter time because obviously I prefer it colder. Look, it's raining. Raining is good. Not when it rains too much though. Because where I'm from in the UK, if it rains too much, if it rains too much where I'm from in the UK, we're at risk of strong floods. So I'd rather it not rain. Say what you saw in Gotham. Well, not much spoiler. Well, I loved Gotham because you didn't know what was going to happen every season, and I loved it. But I won't reveal anything. I'm not that person. If this was a film review podcast, I want to do a film review podcast because I studied film, but every time I tried to do one, it kept YouTube kept blocking it. Which, right, what was I coming in here to do? I've realised I can create a bow. Don't have any arrows for it, so it makes it partially useless at the moment. Yeah, that Discord server, everyone, it's not just about my YouTube channel, it's about everything. I've put in movie stuff, other video games. I've even put about my film review, I've even put my film stuff, my writing stuff. I've even put something about DVD collecting. Have I got the map? I just want to see where we are. I'm at Y19, so we're only 19 blocks above zero. We're only 19 blocks above. We're going to be careful here. Oh. I was about to say, we're going to be careful. We're going to be slightly careful there because I'm not aware. We could have had lava right underneath us. Right. I've been streaming for 99 minutes. We haven't got far. But mainly because I was talking about football for half of it. Right. Right, so we got iron now. If we can get enough iron, that will be splendid. Here we go. So now we're just going to go this way a bit more. We're 14 blocks above, so we can potentially get diamonds on this level. Any torches on me? I got 16, so we can potentially make more. How much iron we got now? We got 21 iron. We probably got enough. We probably got enough to get armor. Here we go. Perfect. Sorry, my internet died. That's alright. That's alright. My internet dies sometimes. You don't have to apologise. Hello, Pixel Dibble. Welcome to the stream. We can hear mobs, so there's got to be something above us. I didn't hear what you talked about Gotham. I said it's a very good. I said it's a very good show. I mean, I loved it when it aired. I said I loved when you said about like, tell me what you see, but no spoilers. Chaos. The whole point of Gotham is that you know, Gotham in the books is a city that's full of chaos. Great show. But in all the comics, that's the case. Gotham is a place, they call it the Crazy City. It's good so far, but it's good so far, but you trying to say, but does it get better? The Flash series, I'm a bit different with that. I think Flash got shit. I think Flash got shit, personally. I think Flash, personally, with Flash, I think it got... I didn't like Flash after season 6. Have I watched it? I watched up until season 6, because season 6 aired... Season 6 started airing in 2019, so I watched everything from season 2. I watched everything from season 1 onwards. I watched season 1 to 6 while they aired, but season 6 I thought was really bad. I've heard that season 7 to 9's pretty good, but season 6 was really bad. Yeah, season 6 was really bad. Like I hated blood work. I hated when they used the blood work episodes. I hated the blood work episodes. I thought the episodes with blood work I thought were absolutely terrible. I'm really good. Hello Apollo, welcome to the stream. I'm really good. How are you? Yeah, I thought Bloodwork was shit, but the reason is because Bloodwork was a new villain. Bloodwork had only existed for 2 years in the comics before they used him. I just couldn't get back into it. I couldn't get back into Flash after the Bloodwork episode. I literally forced myself to finish the Bloodwork bit to get to Crisis on Infinite Earths, and I never watched the rest of it. I've heard it's pretty good though. Perhaps I should go back in and finish season 6 and watch 7, 8, and 9. See, obviously you can't beat season 5 though. You can't beat season 5. I absolutely loved Cicada. I absolutely loved the Cicada series. I think season 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 of Flash was absolutely peak. You can't beat Cicada though. I absolutely... Bloodwork's back in season 8 though. Yeah, I hated Bloodwork. I found the character boring. But I think it's because he was only in like... The problem with Flash though is like they relied too heavily on Reverse Flash. By the time, you know, Reverse Flash made an appearance like every season. I loved it. I absolutely loved Reverse Flash. I absolutely love Reverse Flash, but I think he appeared too much. He just randomly appears just all the time. Kind of like the Joker, but the Joker has a reason to appear sometimes. Well, yeah, time travel's always been in Flash though. You know, he time travels in season 3 because he goes back in time and brings his mother back. One of the best episodes of Flash, though, I really love when they go to parallel worlds. I love that. Yeah. Reverse Flash is very, very important. Reverse Flash is very, very important, but I think he was used too much. He could not... in another way... His story could have been done after season 1, but they brought him back. Obviously, I love Tom Cavanagh. I think he played him really well. Yeah, I know that he kept doing. I know he kept doing that because I've seen bits of that. I loved Flash. I loved Grant Gustin's Flash, and then they sacked him. It was such a stupid idea. I know Flash's future children came and helped because Nora was in season 5. I know Flash's I know about Crisis. I know about Crisis because Crisis was 2019. I watched Crisis while it aired. That's the last bit of Flash I watched. The last bit of Flash I watched was the Crisis episode. I know about Armageddon. I know about Armageddon because the actor... because I was watching Batwoman at the time, because Batwoman was one of the ones I stayed watching. You had a son too. Yeah, I know he had a son too, but in the timeline he never had a son. But that's where they said they kept retconning everything. That's what pissed me off though. Is the fact that they kept retconning every single thing. So he has a son, he has a daughter. Alright, yeah. And now he's got a son. I'm like, but what? Because it's not mentioned in season 5 about him having a son. But I like a retcon. I like a retcon when it's done sensibly, but then that just doesn't make sense. Yeah, I know Green Arrow sacrificed himself because I watched Crisis while it aired. I've got Crisis on DVD because I really wanted to watch Crisis. That's the last... I forced myself to watch the shit at... No, Armageddon's the season 8 thing when the first 4 episodes... Armageddon was the crossover they just did with Flash with Crossover. Armageddon was the Flash thing. I never watched Armageddon. But I was I never watched Armageddon. Well, I absolutely love DC, but the problem I had with the CW shows is that they kept the wrong ones going. I think Batwoman, I wanted Batwoman to have another season, but then they scrapped Batwoman. Legends of Tomorrow and Batwoman were offered new seasons, so they started writing them, and then they turned around and scrapped, and then the new guy came in and scrapped it after they were announced for new seasons. Superman and Lois was meant to be connected. Superman and Lois was meant to be connected to Thing. Surprisingly, Superman and Lois was meant to be in the same universe as the Flash, Supergirl, because Supergirl was meant to show up, and they changed it. Which you kind of know it's a similar, because the actress that played Lois Lane's daughter in Supergirl played Lois Lane's daughter in Lois. Good shows. They were good shows. That I really loved Batwoman. I thought Batwoman was a really good show. And Hunting for Revenge. Oh yes, what's his name? Eddie Thawne. Well, yeah, Eddie Thawne, because Eddie Thawne was his grandson. He's a good actor. He played it really well. But he was also in. I haven't tried Batwoman. Watch it. Batwoman is a bit more darker. Batwoman's a little bit more darker, but it's good. Batwoman was a darker one, so Batwoman was more 15. CW's Batwoman was more 15. It reminds me of someone truly. He was in Tom Cavanagh was in Yogi Bear as well. He was pretty good in Yogi Bear. But what was I going to say? Of course. Yeah, of course. What TV show? Yeah, Batwoman was a really good show. I loved the villain more though. I loved the villain. Like the actress that played the villain. I loved her performance. It was so good. After Gotham. Oh, ironically, Yokes, the lady that played Renee Montoya in Gotham plays a alternate universe of Renee Montoya in Batwoman. Just popped into my head when you said Gotham. Yeah, the lady that played Renee Montoya played an alternate universe Renee Montoya in Batwoman. Although she played it more, I think she played it more coldly in Batwoman, which was a really interesting one. Yeah, we can talk about TV. We can talk about TV shows on this stream. Although Batwoman, I really loved. I really wanted Batwoman to get another season, but it didn't. In fact, I wanted Supergirl to have another season, but Supergirl, they actually pitched another season. Yes, I did know that. I did know about that bit because I saw that. I saw an article about that bit somewhere. And the thing is, Supergirl, they pitched a Supergirl season without Supergirl, which I thought would be quite a cool. I think they should have done that. I think that would have been a cool idea. Supergirl without Supergirl, but it's, you know, the characters continue on following in the name of Supergirl's message. About about truth, hope, and peace. It was a Tygo story. Cool. Yeah, I watched. What's the last TV show I watched? I started watching Titans yesterday. Off Netflix. I watched a little bit of Titans when it aired on British TV a few years ago, but then they stopped airing it. So I thought I'd give it a shot. I thought I'd re-give it a shot. Interesting. Yeah, I love TV. I love TV, guys. Like, which is why we have a film and TV on my Discord server, guys. It's why we have a film and TV section called Movies and TVs. I give my film reviews. What? I just tried to purge the purge the movie chat because this guy commenting random stuff in there and I can't purge it. Yeah, I didn't know about the reverse flash bits. Oh, that's why we were here, guys. I was waiting for the iron to... So... we will need more iron now. We're going to need more ladders. We got 9 more ladders. But we got iron now, so we can pick up diamonds now. If we mine down a bit more, we will now be able to pick up diamonds, which would be brilliant for us. No, this is a random world we've created just for this stream. Welcome back. May you please repeat. I said on my Discord server we have sections for film and TV. Because I studied film, so we have sections where people can talk about film and TV and stuff. This is a world I created just for the stream. Actually, let's just put a torch down a second. I was about to say, let's go to the stone, but... we'll use this wooden one for a second. Okay. Yeah, on my Discord server, guys, we have a section for film and TV. So if you guys want to talk about film, the Discord server is the perfect place. Yeah. Yeah, I did know about that. I did know about that because I saw the trailers of the episodes when they came out, but I never watched them. And I saw the bit about Red Death. Because I was watching Batwoman at the time when that bit aired. Because the lady that was playing Batwoman obviously played Red Death. I knew the bit about Red Death. Yeah, but it's because I got bored. I got bored. Some TV shows, I think, go on too long. The thing is, though, some TV shows go on too long that you get bored. It's the same as CW is goated. The CW TV shows were goated, but the problem is they had the one problem CW had is some of the shit dialogue. Shit dialogue. Sometimes they said stuff which was slightly questionable on the CW. There's an episode of Supergirl. Yeah. There's an episode of Supergirl where a character literally says to a guy, sorry, I struggle to make conversation with men under 6 feet tall. That's offensive. Like, 95% of the human population are under 6 foot. That bit cracked me up when I saw that. I'm like, that's just a very weird bit of dialogue to put in. It's not being offensive. It was too long, yeah. But that's what I mean. Like, shows got too long. The only show that can go on that long is Doctor Who. The only show that can go on that long is Doctor Who, because every 3 years the Doctor changes his face. The only show that can continue on is Doctor Who, because Doctor Who every 3 years they replace the actor. The Doctor changes his face, and everything changes. It's the only show that can last like that. Oh bollocks! Just want to put a torch here because he's been in the box for 3 seconds, so he's came out 3 seconds in the future. Because he's been in the box for 3 seconds. When he comes out, he's been in the box 3 seconds. Yeah, it would be. That's the point. It would be. But he would come out 3 seconds before he joined. So to him, yeah, he is making a joke, but and technically, yeah, he would have been in there. No, Gotham was goated. Gotham was the best DC TV show they've ever done. Flash is good, but Flash is a great show, but Flash wasn't shot like a film. Gotham was shot like it was a film every episode. Gotham was shot like a film. Gotham feels like a movie. If you guys want another cool TV show, watch Man in the High Castle off Amazon. Man in the High Castle is 40 episodes long, and each episode's like an hour. So it's like 40 hours long. It's an amazing show. It's basically about time travel, science fiction. Man in the High Castle is based in a world where the Nazis won the war, but all these DVDs from other universes are coming through, which are all these tapes are coming through from other universes, saying it's but not that good. Some of the visual effects on Flash weren't great. They're not bad, but some of them you can tell that it was TV money. Some of the VFX on Flash, you can tell that it was some of the VFX episodes on Flash, you could tell that they were it was done with TV money, not film money. Hello, it's Penguin. Welcome to the stream. If you get it's a way, it's an interesting one. Where basically, yeah, TV shows don't have the same money that films get. So you know, a Flash episode. A Flash episode was made for like 200 grand, whereas I watched every night from 12 AM to 7 AM, then school. Bloody hell. How are you not tired? How are you not tired? Do you get any sleep in there? Got to be honest, I did the same thing with Batwoman. I watched all 20 episodes in a day and a half. I binge watched all 20 episodes. When I bought it on DVD, I binge watched all 20 episodes. When I bought it on DVD, I binge watched all 20. I watched the first 8. Loved it. Decided to buy it on DVD when it came out, and then I binge watched all 20 episodes in like 14 hours. I'm just not sleeping. Barely 2-3 hours in a whole day. That's not good. How old are you, Yogs? Well, as you said, sorry, you said you're 16 tomorrow, didn't you? Yeah, that's not good. Only having 2 to 3 hours sleep is not healthy. That's very much not a safe thing to do. Only have 2 to 3 hours sleep. Fish Mooney sucks. Penguin looks creepy. Nah, Fish Mooney's an amazing character. Fish Mooney is an amazing character. Penguin, 15. Yeah, you need more than 3 hours sleep. 2 to 3 hours sleep. Yeah, Fish Mooney is an amazing character. Fish Mooney is an amazing character. She is cold. She's ruthless. Basically, what Penguin is, Fish Mooney is exactly the same. They're both cold and ruthless. But the guy that played Penguin is amazing. The guy that played Penguin played it so well. It's not that complicated if you watch it fully. It's not that complicated. You've got it's not that complicated. In a way, you've got two rival gangsters. Mafia bosses. Carmine Falcone's ruled Gotham for 30 years. Maroni is the challenger. Maroni wants to take control, or wants to rule Gotham. So the whole concept is Maroni wants to rule Gotham. You know what I mean? Yeah, she's brutal. I wouldn't say she sucks, but the character's too badass and good. But you've got to be. That's the sign of good writing. It's the sign of good acting too. You've got to be ruthless though. Gotham is a 15 rated show. They can do ruthless. She's an amazing character. It's the truth though. It is the truth. Every character in Gotham wants something. Every character in Gotham has a motive for something they want. I know what happens there, but I'm not going to say anything. But I absolutely love Barbara. I absolutely love the character of Barbara, though. Yeah. Right, we've got a little garden now. We've got a little space for a garden. Tompkins was good, bro. Yeah, Tompkins is really good. I really love her. I love her character, and I love Barbara's character. They're both great characters. But in that show, I absolutely loved Penguin. Across the whole 5 seasons, I loved him because he was just because of how cool of a character he was. We're not near any villages. There's one further that way, and there's one that way. Umbrella Boy. Oh yeah. Yeah. Great. It's a great show. Every character had some sort of I need 2 iron. I need 2 iron pieces. I've only got 1. I've only got. So we'll make one out of. DC have great. Batman has a great. Out of all the DC characters, Batman has the best rogues of villains. Has the best sort of. Oh yeah, I mean Bruce Wayne. Bruce Wayne is massive in Gotham. I even love the. I loved the character that played him as well. Right. Let's go get some more seeds and we can grow. So, hey, we got potatoes, beetroot seeds. Let's take a quick sleep. We're going to grow a farm in the corner here. Like you grew during the whole show, but yeah, that's the thing though. That's an interesting one in reality, because in reality that's where they've got to be lucky. They've got to be lucky. They've got to have luck there, because when you're young, you don't know what's going to happen. You don't know if they're going to grow. So, for example, it happened with Harry Potter. It happened in a reverse in Harry Potter. In the Harry Potter films, that happened in this sort of reverse, whereas Harry Potter is a tallish character. I'm not even going to say because I can't remember. I'm not even going to say because I can hardly remember myself. Here we go. You said you're right. You're watching season 1, right? Well, no, I've already rewatched season 1. I've rewatched season 1. I rewatched season 1, 2, and 3 recently. Yeah, I do know who killed the Waynes, but it's no one that you would expect. So it's not a character that you would just know of without already watching it. So yeah. But when you said about like Bruce Wayne growing through the show from childhood to adulthood, they got lucky there. They got lucky that the kid grew. They got lucky that the kid grew, because in some shows they aren't that lucky and the kid don't grow and things like that. Have you watched Harry Potter? His love story. Well, it happens, but it's more of that's more of like a side thing. That stuff's more of a side thing in later seasons. Nope, never tried Harry Potter. Well, what you just said about the kid growing through the show, Harry Potter in the books is described. Harry Potter is described in the books as being like 5'11", 6 foot tall. The guy that played Harry Potter across the whole year, the guy that played Harry Potter across the show didn't grow. The guy in Harry Potter didn't really grow much. So Harry Potter is meant to be like, 6 foot. The actor who played him was 5'5". So yeah, you have to get lucky when you cast a child for a role that they would grow in. You have to be lucky that you have to have some sort of luck that they grow. Harry Potter is described in the books as being fairly tall. But at the end of the Harry Potter film series, the guy that played Harry Potter was only 5'5". So Harry Potter ended up in that show being a shorter character. So it's a really interesting point of view. You have to get lucky there because Batman is a big character. Batman's a big guy. You got to think, guys. Batman's a big guy. Like Batman is in all the comics. Batman is taller than Superman. Were they there? Well, they have to be. They have to be because Jim Gordon's the main character. They have to be there because Jim Gordon is the main character of Gotham. Bruce Wayne is not the most important character of Gotham. The most important character of Gotham is Jim Gordon. Oh God, that's why you always see Jim Gordon. Jim Gordon is the main character of Gotham is Jim Gordon. The whole point of Gotham is not about Bruce Wayne. It just happens to be that Bruce Wayne's parents get killed in Gotham. But it's about Jim Gordon. Did you not realise that? If you watch it, who has the most airtime in that show? Jim Gordon. Jim Gordon is... It's about Jim Gordon coming to Gotham. Because Jim Gordon, he left Gotham as a kid. He came back and the city was now a corrupt mess. So it's about Jim Gordon, a police officer, an uncorrupted police officer coming back to the city of his birth and finding it in a state. Yeah, Bruce Wayne is not the most important. It's not the main character of Gotham. The main character of Gotham is Jim Gordon, because Jim Gordon is basically. It's mainly about Jim Gordon came back to Gotham and found out about how bad Gotham had become. So it sums that up with the bit in season 1. You know, when he's gave the gun. When he's gave the gun and the bit about with Penguin. When he's gave that bit, when he's gave the gun in that episode, that sums up the whole show. That sums up what it is. To save him and Bullock, he has to walk Penguin to the end of the docks. Oh, fuck. I didn't expect to die then. Where was I? I was over there, wasn't I? I was up on the mountain here. I was up on the mountain here, so I think I'm over here somewhere. Yeah, Jim Gordon's the main character of Gotham, because the whole point is about him coming back to Gotham to help rebuild it. Enough spoilers. I didn't give you any spoilers. You would have seen that bit. That's not a spoiler. You did that bit. Yeah, here's my stuff. You would have been that because if you've watched it properly, you would have watched that bit because that's the first episode of season 1. I need more iron, guys. I need more iron. Yeah, that's not a spoiler because that's if you're on episode 14, you would have seen episode 1. Okay, have a good rest of your day. I don't know how long this stream's going to last. Penguin living? But you know Penguin's alive. Because he shows up before that episode. Unless you haven't watched it properly, but you would know that because he shows up in every single of those episodes. He shows up in every episode up to episode 14, so you would know that. Yeah, so that's not a spoiler. Yeah, that's not a spoiler because he showed up in every single episode, so you sort of know that. Unless you've missed a load of episodes. There we go. Right, I don't know how much I'm going to do now, guys. 126 of you have watched this stream, guys. Thank you. I'm going to end the stream now, guys, so thank you for watching.